the first day of summer. It's just about 6 o'clock. I feel like the sunrise is really beautiful this morning, but I thought I'd give you a garden tour since it's been a while. This is the asparagus I planted from seed. It looked really terrible for a little while. It's looking much better now. And I also have cucumbers growing in here. My cucumbers have not been growing very well. Get out of the way of the sprinkler here. But eventually we'll have cucumbers. They just aren't doing what they normally do. Okay, here's my main garden and my favorite garden this year. It's just so pretty and it's really simple to weed. Have to keep up with it a little bit, but it's nothing like weeding that bed where all the weeds are coming up. This is just a few weeds here and there, so it's doing a lot better. This is some of our overflow strawberries, and we'll look down at this end. I have bird netting over most of my strawberries because I didn't want to lose them to the birds. Too valuable to me. And then this is the sweet potatoes that we planted. They are fully established and growing, so that's really exciting. Next, the mosquitoes are out this morning. It was windy yesterday. I didn't have any of them. These are the potatoes, and the potato bugs have really been going after them. So this is what a larval potato bug looks like. And they're pretty devastating on the plants. You can definitely see areas where we haven't eaten these too bad yet. But some of them are a lot worse than others. Down here you can kind of see where they've really gone after the plants. That's okay, we're picking them off and we're still getting potatoes. I pulled our first little bit of potatoes right here. Okay, these two rows are strawberries, our main strawberries. Okay, moving on to this row, I'm really excited that my zucchini squash is finally blooming and starting to produce. We haven't gotten one yet. As you can see, we do have zucchini on this plant. And I know once I get them, I'll be sick of them. But right now we are very excited. Zucchini brownies, zucchini bread, roasted zucchini, grilled zucchini. We're pretty excited. And then something we haven't grown before is yellow zucchini squash or summer squash. So that'll be fun to try, make our meals look a little bit brighter. Okay, so half of the row was zucchini, and then we've also replanted our zucchini so that we extend our harvest, because we won't have plenty of zucchini, right? Hopefully everyone likes zucchini as much as we do. So we got our next crop started. This row is flowers, and some of them are starting to open. I'll show you. We have different color zinnias, mostly in this row. So there's zinnia. So it'll be exciting to see. And then next door to it, we have our sunflowers. We have radishes next to it. Then we throw in a few extra sweet potatoes. And we have some celosia. And then some more sweet potatoes down here. Next is our green beans. So this end of the row is our second planting of green beans. Actually came up fairly well. I would say better than the first half, and they look healthier. Not sure exactly why that happened. But this is our first planting. They have taken some damage from hot days, windy days, and also dicamba damage. They are, my husband, who works in that industry, says that this wrinkled, bubbledy look on the leaves is dicamba damage. But they're doing okay. They're coming out of it. I think dicamba damage is something we can't avoid right now where we live in the center of an agricultural world here. And then next door we have our onions, and I've been harvesting here and there because we have lots of beautiful onions that are so delicious, so tasty. Then we have our carrots, and we have been pulling carrots here and there, checking on them, mostly thinning them. Let's see if I can find one that I want to pull for you. We've got to thin that area pretty good. Come down here a little bit. See some spiders this morning. Okay, so these could be thinned. So I'm going to pull out. This definitely isn't our biggest ones. But that's what our carrots are looking like. So you can see about the size of my finger, a little skinnier. Then we have more carrots and our peas, which it's getting hot, and so the peas are speeding up their production here and will be headed out pretty soon. I picked yesterday, we shelled them and got about 3 cups. I'll pick again tomorrow. I don't know how much longer we have with our peas. This is my son's garden. He wanted some space, so I gave him the space right next to our compost there, which has a lot of weeds on it. We have been pulling them. He's not a huge fan of weeding, but you can see his weed pile. He's doing okay. He's got marigolds and tomatoes and a sunflower, I think, in here. And then these are watermelons. Then we've got our colorful corn, painted corn. I'm not sure what it's called, but that's an experiment and I'm excited to try it. Then we have more melons. I honestly did not tag these when I planted them, so some are cucumbers, some are cantaloupe. I think I have a spaghetti squash. I think I have a butternut squash, and then I also have pumpkins. And then this is regular corn, and chances are the coons are going to get it, but I wanted to try planting it amongst my melons just to see how it goes. So that's our garden here at Windhaven, and I just noticed something really cool. I'm going to show you. What a beautiful thing to see this morning. Totally unexpected. Beautiful. Oh, I can even see a double. I don't know if you can see a double on here, it's faint. But there is a double right about there. Beautiful. So, sunrise on one side, mosquitoes, and rainbow on the other side. Yuck. I gotta get picking strawberries. I'll talk to you in a little while. This is my morning picking over here at Windhaven. The carrot we pulled, mulberries, and strawberries. So I'm back over at our house now. This is also where our farm stand is. Turn you around and show you. Farm stand's out there. So we're here in the tomato and pepper garden. And this is where I harvest most of our lettuce. I didn't expect the lettuce to last too far into the summer, so that's why it's planted between my tomatoes. So when it's done, tomatoes can take over. But the lettuce is still looking fantastic, and I'm really glad about that. I also have marigolds and calendula, and marigolds have been rumored to keep away some of the bad insects, and I have had years where my lettuce was completely devoured by worms. I've had aphids on my lettuce, and so far the lettuce in this garden doesn't have either of those problems. So I don't know if it's the marigolds or if it's just the year, but it's worth trying again next year because to have clean, bug-free lettuce is really, really awesome. My tomatoes took a lot of herbicide drift damage, but they've done that just about every year for the last few years, and they are managing to get by anyways. So these are some of our cherry, I think chocolate cherry, and so we have little tomatoes on there. Those will hopefully be some of our first ready ones. And then these are early girls, and there are a few. I can see one down there. And these are my paste tomatoes, and they look the worst. However, down at that end I have some that look a little bit healthier, and that is because these I started and set out to harden off, and they got herbicide drift then. So then I went and bought those at the store, and they have received some drift, but not as young and early as these did. Same on that side. So yeah, they just look really terrible. I did grow replacements that I will have to find a place to plant. I don't know if it's too late, but it was worth an experiment. And these are my big ones, my slicing tomatoes. This is one of the first tomatoes I saw on there. So we're still a ways out from tomatoes. This is my snow peas, and they have been producing prolifically. They've been really faithful in that. We've eaten a lot of stir fries. We've also roasted some, and it's just been really, really fun. And then we have my peppers, which have struggled with rabbits, have struggled with the wind, have struggled a little bit with herbicide, but they are almost all of them are alive. And then over here I have my beans. Once again, herbicide damage, wind damage, but they're growing. And then I planted some lima beans from seeds that I saved from last year from our lima beans, and they look terrible as well, but I'm sure they'll produce something. My flower bed, and I have balm blooming, marigolds, celosia, bachelor buttons. My rose is just overly ambitious this year. It is doing fantastic. And more celosia and marigolds. A few other plants amongst quite a few weeds. Over here I have cabbage. My cabbage is not doing much of anything. Got a few little heads down in there. I'll let it keep going, but it's starting to look kind of sad, especially some of these leaves in here. So I'm gonna have to go back to the drawing board and learn a better way to grow cabbage. This needs to come out and go to the chickens. That's bok choy. This kale is doing fantastic. And then I have a little bit of lettuce over here, the earliest lettuce that I planted. And we have our bed of strawberries here. And those, the kids just come out and eat when they want to. Occasionally I'll go through and pick it. We still have cauliflower that has done nothing, so I kind of doubt it will do anything. And then I pulled out the broccoli yesterday and didn't get it to the compost yet. Here I pulled out my garlic, which I spring planted and didn't go very well, so definitely try fall planting it this coming year. But I went ahead and put in some cilantro and some dill in here. Now here's my Swiss chard, and I was hoping to put Swiss chard out at the stand, but the hailstorms that we have gotten hurt these leaves when they were little, and they have just continued to grow with holes in them. So while they may be edible, they really don't look pretty enough to take out to the farm stand, so the chickens get a lot of those. My wheat is turning, and I have given up weeding it at the moment. The celery is looking fantastic. Oh, I've got a spider web there. The celery looks great. However, my cucumbers that were supposed to trellis up and over this trellis here are hardly growing. I think some of it is due to the celery blocking all their light. If they could only grow a little bit bigger, they'd come up here where the light is. So that celery looks fantastic. The onions and some peas behind it. This melon, this is Minnesota midget melon, is looking much better. I'm gonna have to do quite a bit of work to get it to go over my trellis like planned. They're very small cantaloupe type melons that supposedly trellis well. And then we have our carrots here. These are different varieties, and the tender sweets on the front is white carrots or yellow carrots, so something a little bit different. I have a few apples, and so far they look fantastic. These are our peaches. Kind of see how big they're getting. And you can see in some places there are a lot of peaches on this tree, despite having pruned off a lot of them. I feel like I pruned off half of them, but there's still so many left on there. Over here I have my parsley and basil, and then most of this stuff's done. And I've got some bunching onions, some sage and rosemary, more basil and chives, and then here I have thyme.